Hi there, my fellow Java programmer. In this episode, you're going to learn how to use IntelliJ's fantastic database tool window with embedded databases like H2 or Derby. So let's find out how that works. Now, back in IntelliJ, you'll find the database tool window on the right-hand side. There's usually a couple of tabs here, which I don't have in the presentation mode, but anyway, you'll have the database tool window, which is basically a full-blown SQL editor. And you can easily just add a new data source, and either you click data source and then choose the type, or there's a simpler way. If you have a URL, you can simply go data source from URL. Right, now one of my viewers asked me, how does this work with embedded databases? Well, the thing is, first of all, just quickly open up a browser, and as you can see, I'm a fan of the H2 embedded database. It doesn't mean that there aren't other embedded databases that work just as fine, and even on the website you can see Derby, HSQLDB, and there's SQLite and whatnot. But I don't want to have a battle of databases here. H2 has a ton of great features, is fast, small, reliable, and that's why I'm using it. And then you can open up the features section, and you'll have to scroll down a bit. And at some point you see a database URL overview. And these are just example URLs that you can take and use H2 with. And you can see here the URL for an in-memory database is JDBC H2mem. So let's copy it. Then go back to IntelliJ, paste it in here, and you'll see IntelliJ was smart enough to say, well, driver should be H2. A new window opens up. And what's important is you can always test your connection first to see, well, that worked, so IntelliJ could connect to that URL. Then say if you wanted to connect to an Oracle database or whatever, you need a specific Oracle driver. And if you don't have that added to your project, then IntelliJ would simply prompt you to download the driver. And that's also very convenient, so you don't have to do it yourself. And then you can give the database a name, which doesn't make too much sense if you're just working on a single in-memory database. But in any case, the name up here is what you'll see in the IntelliJ window, so call it in-memory database. And then you'll see IntelliJ has it here, and you're good to go. Now F4 opens up an editor in here, and you can do anything you want. Create table, test, let's say, and has a name column, a name varchar column, 10. That worked. Then let's insert something into tests, values, blah. Right, that should be values. Run it again. That also worked. You can do things like commit anything you do in a plain old SQL editor. And now if you select everything from test again, you get a result back and it's blah. Great. Now let's close the connection. Let's disconnect. And then you reconnect again. So you just open up the console again, which will reconnect. And now try to rerun the select star from test. And you get an error message saying table test was not found. Why is that? And it's because it's an in-memory database. That means it only lives as long as a connection is open to the database. And as soon as you close the connection, the database and all of its contents are also gone. And that's nice for testing, but is a problem if you want to have a look at what is inside the database after the test. And for that, you need to change things around a little bit. So open up your browser again. Look at the URLs. And you can see up here, there's an embedded local connection to a file, which means H2 will save everything to a file. And that's exactly what you want, because then the file is on your hard disk. You can open it up at any time you want later on. So let's copy this URL here. It's in your home directory with a test prefix. Good. Again, in here, data source from URL. You see IntelliJ already pasted it in itself. OK. Test file-based, let's say. Test the connection. Successful. Great. Now go to the other console, Just copy everything, go back, execute the statements, and you see that worked. Then disconnect, reconnect again, do another select, and that also worked. So no error message, you can disconnect, you can reconnect, everything is there. And if you look at your home directory, you'll see you'll have two files. It's a test mv.db file and a test trace.db file. So everything you have in the database gets saved to these two files. You can copy them anywhere you like and just reopen them again, and it should just work as fine. Congratulations, you now know how to work with embedded databases. And up next is an episode where we do the same thing, but with real databases like MySQL, Postgres, or Oracle. So let's get right after it.